Okay, here we go. This is Module 2 Introduction, and you'll notice here we have now just two main areas within each module. So I broke this out into what is basically going to be a folder of the topical material that's related to the course itself. Let's think of it in terms of just like a course materials folder, and then we'll have a course assignments folder. I think what happened before is we had some people who were going into the course content folder, and they were going in, they were using some of the information in there, which were supporting documents for labs, etc. And then they were working under the belief that those items had to be submitted, and they were in the wrong folder. I mean, you're not going to submit anything in a content folder, but anything you'd find in an assignments folder, yes, that's where you're going to submit. So I think people were looking in the wrong folder and perhaps finding information and thinking that they had to submit. I think we've resolved that here with this new setup. So I'm going to go into body composition for module 2 here. As you know, this is chapter 11 in our book, and if I go into the content area, let's go ahead and take a look here in content. You have two main presentations, and just so we have a matter of disclosure here, you know, Jonathan and I share content with some of our courses. These are presentations that he had done previously, and I did a voiceover on these for this class. So I took one of the presentations and I broke it out into two sub presentations, so they're about 12 to 15 minutes a piece, kind of more easily digestible. And then the second presentation, same thing, it's like 50 some odd slides. I broke it out into two main sub presentations, which again I think are easily digestible. I hit on the high points. I made a point to let you know if I was glossing over something or if I didn't think it was of value and you weren't going to see it somewhere else in the course. So I think I made that very clear when I did these presentations. Also, here's another presentation that we have with a link out to a body composition calculator, which I think you'll find pretty cool. With this presentation here, absolutely there's some information in there that is in the assignments folder. And what I did is I whipped up a one-page write-up for you guys so you can kind of compare and contrast body mass, body composition tools like bioelectrical impedance, skin fold calipers, and you know, I have to state that in my career, you know, I've had maybe random people come in with a DEXA scan or stated they had hydrostatic weighing, but the majority of my time has been bioelectrical impedance. To a lesser degree, it's been calipers, and I presume that your career path will take you much the same or down the same path because it's just much easier, much more functional, and that's just how people in the industry do it. So now if we jump into the assignments folder, in the assignments folder, these are loaded up. They're going to go live in the next 20 minutes or so. I'm going to load them up and have them go early for you guys. But with the body composition and anthropometric measurements, if we open this up, I'm just going to kind of rip through this. You can see it. What I'm asking you to do is take your own measurements, or perhaps if you have somebody that's a willing participant at home, you can take measurements, and you're going to be answering some questions. You know, what side of the body, how the heck do you do this, where do you take those measurements, what are some of the things you look for. But when we get further down, we have the calculations for BMI. And then here we have a client who's 5'3", 135. You have to come up with what their BMI actually is. So you're going to have to do some math, guys. I'm sorry if anybody lied to you and said you don't need to do math at any point in your life anymore. We have a couple of those questions in here. And if we look at this, we're talking about how to convert their weight in pounds or mass in pounds to mass in kilograms and meters. So let's go ahead and take it a little bit further. I'm then asking you to take the information above and go to table 4 in your book in chapter 11 and find what their corresponding classification would be. So you're going to have to do a little research here, you're going to have to do a little work and be able to find some answers in the book. As we scroll through this a little bit further with bioelectrical impedance, talking a little bit about what goes on with that, and then also with body composition models, what types of models do we use? A 1 compartment, 2 compartment, 5 compartment, 7 compartment. I reference it a lot in the presentations. I'm going to pause this while I get out of this screen. All right, so Virtual Lab 3. I took the labs that we had done before in class in person and the ones that I had done online, I kind of blew them apart and I retooled them a little bit. And I think they're going to be they'll work for a class. What I'm looking for here is you're going to gather information either on you or it could be, you know, a very dear friend of yours. Looking for age, put in the gender, their weight in kilograms and pounds because you'll have to convert it, and then height in meters and inches because you'll have to convert that. And you'll use that information to calculate your own BMI. And from that, when you calculate it, you're going to put your answer in here, and then go to table 11.4 and then find out what your own BMI classification is and put that in. When we get into question 4, now we're talking about waist and hip ratios, right? So it's going to be 2 measurements, take an average, 2 measurements for the hip, take an average. And when you do that, you'll come up with this information here, and that's all I need. And when you get into 5, it becomes what is the actual waist to hip girth measurement for you. So you're going to take your waist girth average and divide it by your hip girth average, plug that number in here. That'll then carry down into this. You go to table 11.11, and then you'll have to go under your specific age, gender classifications to find your level of risk compared to norms. And what we'll need to do is here is just make sure you note your waist to hip ratio and then know what the corresponding risk level is based upon those norms. 7, this is a very real type of scenario, and it's almost like a case study light right here. So you have a client who comes in who weighs 235 and their body fat is 27%. I need you to figure out what their fat weight is, and I need you to figure out what their fat-free weight is. So it's one of these right here. Their fat weight is either this, and their fat-free weight is this, or any of the numbers therein. If we take this a step further and we go to 8, that same client, I'll fix that. Hold on one second. Yep, just like I said, that same client that was in question 7 informs you that one of their goals is to drop 10 pounds over the next 4 months. All right, so presuming that they're successful, what would their body compositions look like? And from there, come up with their total body mass, their fat weight, their fat-free weight, and their body fat percentage. Got it? I take this a little bit further down. Your client actually has great results. And from the great results that they have, they end up actually losing 20 pounds. And they have an increase of 5 pounds of muscle, which is fantastic. So now please tell me, what is their new total body mass or body weight? What is their new fat weight? And what is their new body fat percentage? Gotta do a little math, I'm sorry, but that's kind of part of the deal. And lastly, when you look at this, the client number 9 is super happy. They can't believe how happy they are. And they come to you and they say, well, you know, in actuality, how much weight did I lose in pounds? Like my fat weight? You got an idea? And come up with the correct answer. All right, that is a great stepping off point. For me, I have a case study I have to still put in here, so I got to get back to work. I hope this allies many of the problems, issues, concerns that we had in class. The only other thing I have for you guys is the post and response, and that's basically when you look at this, I'm looking for you to take a look at both these articles, give them a read. You don't have to scrutinize them, but give them a read and offer your own opinion. What do you think of BMI? Do you think it's a great tool? Do you think it's an okay tool? Does it have its place in what we do? Or is it bunk? Just let me know. Put it out there. I'm looking for 100 to 150 words in your post. And when you do a response, just don't say, Jennifer, I think your answer is great. You know, offer a little insight. And it should reflect and build upon the comments of your classmates. So if you want full points, you have to post and respond to your classmates. All right, guys, have a great one and get to it.